If there is one cricketer who constantly seems to court controversy, it's Virat Kohli. Virat is considered one of the Indian greats and has, of late, been facing brickbats on his form. Now, it's one thing when a section of fans or sports commentators criticize a player's form, but quite another when legends start speaking up. Now, Indian cricketing great Kapil has questioned Virat's form. He was quoted by the ICC official handle as saying, play in-form players when you have loads of options. You can't just go by reputation, but you have to look for current form. You can be an established player, but that doesn't mean that you will be given chances, even if you fail 5 games in a row. Interestingly, and this is, the beauty of online repartee, this quote from Kapil Dev, which was put out by the ICC handle, saw a retort from Australian opener Usman Khawaja, who seemed to stand by Kohli when he replied saying, averages 50 at almost 140. Good call, Australia agrees. So that was a bit of a snide remark there. This remark, of course, comes ahead of selections for the upcoming T20 World Cup, which has put the spotlight on Kohli's poor run. Another Indian legend, Venkatesh Prasad, also took on Kohli. He said, and I quote, there was a time when you were out of form, you would be dropped irrespective of reputation. Saurabh, Sehwag, Yuvraj, Zaheer, Bhajji, all have been dropped when not in form. They went back to domestic cricket, scored runs and staged a comeback. He went on to say the yardsticks seem to have changed drastically now. Where there is rest for being out of form, there is no way to progress. There is so much talent in the country and one cannot play on reputation. One of India's great match winners, Anil Kumble, sat out on so many occasions. So strong words there, which came in from Venkatesh Prasad. Now, Rohit Sharma, Indian team captain, meanwhile, backed Kohli, saying when a player is doing well for so many years, then 1 or 2 bad series does not make him a bad player. We should not overlook his past performances. He, in fact, spoke about it also in a post-match press conference. So the question is Kohli being unfairly targeted? Is he at the receiving end unfairly, or has he truly been given a long rope? To understand this, I will turn to the experts today. I will not claim to know about the depths of Kohli's performance, but I will give you all the views from the experts. I'm joined first by my colleague Karishma Singh, who tracks sports and cricket closely. I will also be speaking with K Shrinivas Rao and Charu Sharma are also joining me on the discussion, and we'll be getting you all of their views. But first, Karishma, let me come to you and just understand exactly why Kohli is now at the receiving end, because he's been having poor form for some time now, since 2019. But why the scorers all of a sudden questioning his spot in the team?
Well, Tamanna, because Kohli has been underperforming for the last 3 years. Since 2019, he's still to score a century in any format of the game. The last time he scored a century obviously was in 2019. And now experts, former greats of the game, like you mentioned in the beginning, Kapil Dev, Venkatesh Prasad, all questioning as to why this long rope is being given to Virat Kohli. Even in the past, we've seen players like Virender Sehwag, Harbhajan Singh, Yuvraj Singh, even Anil Kumble sit out matches due to poor form. Having said that, we have to mention here that we're talking about Virat Kohli, the player, the captain who's led India to great heights. He's led India to being #1 in the test arena. He's led India to many titles, of course. Yes, the ICC trophy is missing under Virat Kohli, the captain that he used to be. But, like I said, Virat Kohli cannot be just dismissed on the basis of a poor form. And this is something that Rohit Sharma has also come out openly and backed Virat Kohli, saying that all these experts, the opinions that they have is nothing but outside noise for them, and that how the team works, how the players are selected, and why certain players are given chances is not something that they can understand from the outside. When they played the game and how the game is played now, there is a lot of difference in terms of techniques, in terms of thinking, in fact, and in terms of the scientific processes
Karishma,
that are involved.
Let's pull up and play out. Let's pull up and play out for our viewers exactly what Rohit Sharma said.
ये एक्सपर्ट लोग मुझे पता नहीं कौन है, एक्सपर्ट क्यों बोला जाता है उनको, मुझे वो नहीं समझ में आता है। नहीं, देखिए वो बाहर से गेम देख रहे हैं, उनको पता नहीं अंदर क्या चल रहा है. हमारा एक कुछ थॉट प्रोसेस है, टीम बनाते हैं हम लोग, उसके पीछे काफ़ी चर्चा होती है, उसके पीछे काफ़ी थिंकिंग होती है. लड़कों को बैक किया जाता है, लड़कों को मौका दिया जाता है, तो ये सब चीज़ बाहर के लोगों को पता नहीं चलती है. तो इसीलिए मैं बाहर क्या हो रहा है, अंदर बाहर क्या हो रहा है वो मेरे लिए ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है. अंदर जो हो रहा है हमारे लिए वो ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है. और अगर आप फॉर्म की बात करते हो, फॉर्म ऊपर नीचे सबका होता है. प्लेयर का क्वालिटी जो है वो कभी खराब नहीं होता है.
So Rohit Sharma, net, Rohit Sharma backs his teammates. Some of the greats have questioned his form, and this is not the first time. There have been several who have said that, rest him, don't keep pushing him. But is it a Virat Kohli problem, or is it because of his perception that he seems to be targeted more than others? Is there some kind of a fairness or justification in what is being asked of him? I'm going to bring in more experts to speak on this. Charu Sharma, sports commentator, with me today. K Shrinivas Rao, senior cricket editor, Times of India, and Amay Khurasiya, former Indian cricketer, also joining us in our conversation. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for speaking with us this evening on Beyond the Headline, where we're aiming to actually break down the story so that people know what is behind all of this buzz. Mr. Rao, let me begin with you. Why Virat Kohli? Why now? Is the criticism justified?
Tamanna, what I'm going to say here is not going to be a very popular opinion, not going to be liked a lot. But again, I say what it is and the way I see it. Kapil Dev talks about Virat Kohli. Says, drop him, Ashwin has been dropped. Now, don't disrespect to the cricketer of the century. Great man, okay? I have no issues with that. The point here is Kapil Dev should look back at the last year of his own cricketing career. How long did Javagal Srinath sit out? Because Kapil Dev had to break Richard Hadley's record. Okay, so time flies by, people forget, memories are short, people don't remember. Now that is, we keep that aside. Second, we talk about Virat Kohli. Well, Rohit Sharma says that team के अंदर की बात है, experts कौन है, उनको पता नहीं है, which is fine. I don't want to know what is going on inside your dressing room. I have no interest in what you are discussing with your team meetings. It's your space. You are the captain. You are the leader. What I want to look at is results. Now, at number 3, you're sending out Virat Kohli. That is auguring well. Now, whether it is luck, whether it is lack of form, only Virat will know, or the cricketers, or if there is a coach, of the stature of Rahul Dravid, nobody will know better than him. So they are the best people to decide. But from the outside, what am I looking at? I'm looking at the results. Is that coming? It's not coming. Virat Kohli's luck may be so rotten that the other day the guy took a catch. He could have run a 110-meter hurdle, taken a boat, caught a train, and then even then he would have got to the ball and taken that catch. So
can your luck be rotten for 3 years? Can your luck be rotten for 3 years? And by the way, I love it that you say things that are unpopular. It should always be like that. Please always speak your mind, especially on this show. But can your luck be rotten for so long?
Yes, of course. You can go through a bad patch. See, you don't know what right now is going through his mind. The point is, has anybody opened his mouth and said, like Virat, kind of Rahul Dravid or the BCCI, kind of saying that we stand by Virat, let us stand by him, let us understand from him what is happening, what is his view on the matter. Yes, it's very easy to say drop him. And I have a slight little thing that I agree there. India played England. This was Virat's series from last year. Okay, so he was obligated to play this one-off test match, apropos of whether he was the captain or not. This was his series. South Africa, when we went there, he was the captain. So now you take a fresh call, not whether Virat deserves a place in the side or not. You need to take a fresh call on whether Virat finds a place in your T20 team, apropos of form. There again, I have a view. Virat does not deserve a place in this T20 squad for the World Cup. And I'm very clear of that. That is regardless of form. The madness, the skills of extreme madness that are required from this format. Virat is too classy a player to have that kind of madness, bring that kind of madness to the table. And in an age of multi-utility cricketers, I don't see finding a place in this T20 team for the World Cup. That is the point, not whether he deserves a place in the squad or not. So if you figure that out, the answer to whether Virat deserves a place or not is, you get the answer.
I want to take this a little further. And Amay Khurasiya, I'm glad you've agreed to join us on the show, because I want to see it from the player's perspective, where I mean, it's part of the game, isn't it? Where everything you do is under so much scrutiny, where you have bad patches, low patches, good patches. Do you think this is the point at which you need backing? Should you be given this long a rope?
I think maybe in test and one days, yes, but in T20s, you have got many players who can replace. And the point is, it's a shorter format. And if people can maintain a high strike rate with a better performance, and if they've done that in IPL, then it'll be justice towards their performance. And the reason, the important thing is even greats also think that way. Not, I mean to say Kapil Dev or Venkatesh, but what I mean to say is Virat Kohli also must be thinking today that if there is a narrative and there is a question about his place in a team and it is being discussed, why it is being discussed now? Why it wasn't discussed a year before? Because the point is the slump is too long. And when the slump is too long, then there are question marks. It's not that he will cease to be a legendary cricketer of the world that he is. He has found that place anyway. But the point is, from last few years, he has been not performing, and I think T20 they may look for better options, fresher options. Though having said this, he is a terrier on the field. He's one of the most fit cricketers that we have. But apart from that, there is a question mark when it comes to runs in T20, and their selectors, and that's where even he must be thinking that what's going wrong. But the point is that's the way it is. The game is so cruel, and it's when you discuss legends, it can be a very lurid process. But then so be it. It is, okay. And these are the facts. It's very unfortunate, but then that's the way it is.
So that's the way it is. You benefit from the spotlight. That's why you live under the spotlight. But Charu Sharma, it's a different story, a slightly different story with Virat Kohli, isn't it? And that's one of the questions we've posed. Why does everyone love to hate Virat? I mean, this, of course, is form. There's stats. Everyone can see what's been happening. But he is at the receiving end for a lot of things. I mean, his wife turns up to cheer him on, and if he performs badly, it becomes very personal. Any comment he makes, he's in the spotlight. Do you think that's a special treatment for Virat, or anyone in the spotlight deserves, to take the brickbats with the bouquet?
Yeah, Tamanna, one, I've got to say that KSR, you're a very brave man. Two, I hope the audio, etc. is okay, because there's a little disturbance at my end, and if the audio is okay, please say yes.
No, we can hear you perfectly fine, Charu. We can hear you perfectly fine. You can also be brave on the show. Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So there are many things here. One, of course, is the fact that, is his form poor? Yes. Does he deserve to be in the T20 squad of India at this point of time? No. Are there many hungry young people who can replace him immediately? Absolutely. Sorry, there's a lot of noise in my ear, but I'm trying to ignore it. However, let's just take a look at the kind of nation we are. I mean, no youngster, 25-year-old, is going to turn around to some 75-year-old and say, hey, Sanjay, how are you, man? It doesn't happen. We're a very respectful nation to our elders, for instance, which is many people might think is a good thing. Similarly, in the world of cricket, we have now an all-format captain who's given up a couple of captaincies, but he is the world's biggest cricketer. For many, of course, it's embarrassing the kind of form he currently has. But if we have a converse situation in India where those who played for a very long time should be given the shortest rope, because they played for so long, you have no business to have a long, lean spell. But we give them the longest rope. A youngster who comes in, we give him 2-3 innings, say out, because you're showing poor form. Should be the reverse. Should give him a long rope at that point of time because he's a young budding cricketer. All these things are complications in our country. So it is the kind of country we are. We give a lot of respect to those, especially Kohli, who's been one of the top cricketers in the world for very, very long now. And the process of communication is something that Rohit and company, who are currently deeply inside the Indian team, are hopefully having with Kohli, saying, hey, listen, buddy, are you still good? Because there's no doubt Kohli is still very fit. Can he fit into any team on that score? Yes, he can. He's still young enough. So there are many things still going for him. Just a very, very long, poor run. And if the team collectively, that's not one man, that's a lot of selectors, that's the captain, many other players, still feel that he has hopefully that spark, match-winning spark in him, then they're free to continue with him, because that's the kind of tradition we've set in our country. We're not quick to sack. We're not ruthless in many ways, especially not in sport as well. Should we change? Yes, we should. All the younger, hungry players are saying, for heaven's sake, change, take me in. But we're also ruthless critics, Tamanna. So, I mean, you talked about Why do we love to hate him? I don't know. I don't think we love arrogance in our country because he's very brash, arrogant. Was a young man. Now he's better. Huh? So, people now find, the opportunity to stick a knife into him saying, oh, yeah, you look very arrogant, so I'm going to now try and hate you. So there are many complicated psychologies here. But KSR, I say once again, you're a very brave man because...
I think what made him popular also all of this time is his devil-may-care attitude and his brash arrogance. So when you're flying high, all of those attributes become positive and then turn negative. Karishma, I want to come to you, and I'm sure you have questions for this fantastic panel as well. But, what is the inside story? So you broke a story a short while ago about how now Virat is suffering a mild injury, a groin injury. He's going to sit out the first ODI. Is that in a sense connected to all of this talk and buzz about whether he's really fit right now?
Well, Tamanna, on that front, we'll have to really wait and see whether Virat being injured is any way connected to the T20 team announcement being delayed. Yes, it was to be announced today, but that did not happen. We will have to wait and see if the BCCI conducts a meeting tomorrow of the selectors, and we have a team for West Indies tomorrow. But I did want to ask a question to Srinivas Rao, actually. He knows BCCI in and out. I wanted to ask if you think that now is the time for the BCCI and the selectors to have a chat with Virat Kohli with regard to which way they are heading, given that the World Cup is so close, just 2 months away, to avoid sort of a repeat of what happened before the tour of South Africa when Virat Kohli had that fiery press conference.
That ship has sailed a long time ago, okay? Talking about the World Cup preparation and the team and all. We are 2 months away from the World Cup. You start preparing for a World Cup 2 years in advance, not 2 months in advance. So, if today they can't figure out whether Virat Kohli needs to be at number 3 or not, and today if they're trying to figure out whether Virat Kohli, form is temporary, class is permanent, so he should go, or whether he should not go, I think this is just procrastination of a decision that is staring in your face, that Virat Kohli does not deserve a place in the T20 squad. It's as simple as that. His form doesn't matter. You make him go back to Ranji Trophy. If he wants to pursue his test career, play the 50-over format, go play first-class cricket. You are still who you are. There is no doubt here. You're Virat Kohli. You are one of the most gifted batsmen the world has seen. You are one of the greatest batsmen India has seen. So where is the doubt? Who is debating it? So does anybody need to spell it, be loud about it every now and then to remind ourselves, no, he's Virat Kohli, so we need to respect it? I don't think, that's the thing. It's very, very clear that he doesn't belong in this T20 squad. We are too close to the World Cup right now to even debate this. Just make him sit, take the squad that is performing, as Amay said, as Charu said, there are too many youngsters here battling for us. Why were we not debating Deepak Hooda, by the way? Why are we debating Virat Kohli? Are we saying that Deepak Hooda doesn't matter despite what he's done in T20 cricket? Are we saying that none of the other players we have followed in the IPL and who have actually come out with flying colours don't matter? Why are we not discussing Surya Kumar Yadav's century?
I'll tell you why, Srinivas. And this is very interesting. And as someone who's relatively in this panel, I would say an outsider, because all of you all live, breathe, love sports and cricket. So as an outsider, I want to bring in maybe a slightly controversial angle to this discussion, and I'm going to come to Charu for that. Is it also about big names, big faces in your lineup? I mean, cricket today is a very commercial enterprise. Viewers want to see the stars. I'm not saying it's like a movie, but they want to see the stars. Doesn't that matter as well?
Well, Tamanna, this is an old conspiracy theory that sometimes the agents of the players are very keen that certain players be in the team and all that. I'm not willing to believe that, a team would accept a member who is not going to win them a match just because some other external person or an agent says, no, you must have him because of X and Y contract. Yes, it helps to have big names, big icons, but it's much more useful to win matches. And especially a World Cup. You don't want to go in there with big names and lose. I will say only one thing, that every once in a while, and the whole world perhaps is guilty of this, certainly India, that we tend to believe a little more in experience going for the biggest tournaments over youngsters. Because there is this whole thing about, nerves. And you take a couple of youngsters who've done very well in conditions in the IPL where there's match after match after match and you get a little used to it. Then you go to the World Cup playing a big team and suddenly, you get butterflies in the stomach while an experienced person will not. So in cricket or in the world of sport, there's this usual cliche about a blend of experience and youth. And once again, for a bigger tournament, you tend to err on the side of experience because you know that the big guy is not going to get phased with a big match or a World Cup. So, there's that, but not because of external factors about big names drawing in more tickets or whatever. It's a World Cup. Every ticket is going to be sold out anyway.
Yeah. More viewership, more eyeballs, more advertising. But the thing is about experience, form versus reputation. That's the initial or the basic core debate. Amay, I want to come to you on that. And you talked about how it's cruel, but that's the way it is. That's the way it is in Indian sport. If you were Virat Kohli today, how would you respond to all of these comments being made? And especially with the big guns coming out and criticizing him still being there. I mean, it's like I said in the beginning of this program, it's not, the usual commentary. It's big names who are now questioning him. How would you respond?
Thank you. First of all, even in a television set, I'm happy to be a V of Virat Kohli. So thanks for that compliment. And one of the greatest players that we have ever seen in cricket. But the point is, yes. See, the point is you have to ponder and you have to think that why there is a question mark today, why I'm being discussed today. And if you're being discussed, and that there is something that your reputation is on the line, because the point is your performance has been depleting, and if it is depleting, then yes, people are going to question you, and that's the way the sport is, and that's the way the reality is. And you are still given a long leeway because the point is you are being so much loved and respected by the entire country. So I think he must be himself thinking of performing, and who doesn't want to perform? And the problem is not about his competency, efficiency, the way he is. He is absolutely brilliant. But the point is the stats are not in his favor today in terms of his performance in T20. I'm very sure he'll come back in 1 days and Test cricket. And I will be very happy if he plays only that format and doesn't play T20, because T20 definitely erodes your technique in some or the other way. And when you have a gift of Virat Kohli in your nation, then why not to have 100 centuries in Test and 1 days put together, which is capable of. And this is the point of time where I'll be very happy if he goes back and works with one of the best coaches in the world. Well, what comes to my mind is Graham Gooch, who worked on Cook and many other English cricketers for Test in the Test career. He helped them a lot, because that's what Graham Gooch is known for, daddy hundreds, because daddy hundreds are 150 plus. And that's what he believed in. I think I think he's one of the best coaches where Virat can go and talk. And I think he needs to go to a coach of that repute.
I'm sure there are so many people right now advising Virat on what to do, advising the BCCI, advising the Indian cricket team. But what we're doing here today is just reflective of the kind of love, passion and craze that Indians have for cricket and for Virat Kohli. Obviously, everyone wishes him all the best. I will wrap this here, but thank you so much to all of you for joining us on The Big Story on Beyond the Headline this evening. But that's not the